Welcome to another St. Pete by Night revamped production. The following is rated for mature audiences and may contain graphic themes that will be distressing to some viewers. As always, we recommend you ensure the safety and well-being of yourself and those around you at all times. Viewer discretion is advised.
In the heart of night, we rise from shadows, howling at the moon, igniting our battles, cleansing dire of an endless fight, until our final days we will fight. Thanks, man, we stand united as one. Evil spirits lurking with horror and dread. Little light leads us where the grave dare tread. Glory and honor, wisdom in our hand. Together we rise, take our final stand. Everywhere we run, the wind is at our back. All the warring forces we will track. From the depths of the ocean to the clouds in the sky, vampires tremble as we learn to fight. Rage across Tampa, in this fight we'll stay. Evil spirits lurking with horror and dread. Little light leads us where the grave dare tread. Glory and honor, wisdom in our hand. Together we rise, take our final stand. Rage across Tampa, in this fight we'll stay. Everywhere with the pack, let the night be our guide. In battles of honor, we shall never hide. Rock will never hide.
Good evening and welcome to the St. Pete by Night Entertainment Network. It's Tuesday night and it's time for Rage Across Tampa. My name is Kent, also known as Misha Kent on all social media, and I am the storyteller of Rage Across Tampa. If you're new here, Rage Across Tampa is our Werewolf the Apocalypse 5th edition chronicle set in the city of Tampa Bay, Florida, right across the Bay from St. Petersburg, Florida. And if you're new to the channel, St. Pete by Night is a massive multiplayer World of Darkness chronicle set in the city of St. Petersburg, Florida, but it's kind of expanding as of late. We're starting to reach out to the world at large. We're starting to spread our wings and fly. So you might be seeing some stories outside of the city of St. Petersburg coming to the channel soon. So look out for that as we try to expand ourselves, as we try to break free of the shackles of the state of Florida and start to tell some new stories, but we'll get to that in the future. Let's talk about Tampa, Florida, where some interesting things have been developing as of late. We were cut short last week because of an internet outage, speaking of Tampa and speaking of some ISPs in Tampa that have been less than favorable. So tonight's story will be picking up where we left off. But before we get to that, if you like what you've been seeing here so far, go follow St. Pete by Night on all of that social media you see listed down below and in the description. And if you want to learn more, come follow us at that Discord link in the description, because you could be a part of our community. We would love to have you. We talk about more than just the World of Darkness. We have crazy events happening all the time that you could be a part of, including game nights, including movie nights, including comedy nights. Just come join us. We would love to have you as a member of our community. Before we get to tonight's story, it takes some pretty incredible players to tell the story, so let's introduce those amazing players now. Players, go ahead and introduce yourselves, if you please.
Hi, everybody. I'm Champ, Champagne, Yacht, whatever you want to call me, and I'll be playing Aspen Wise, Violet Ox of the Silverbangs.
Hi, everybody. I'm Nori, and I'll be playing Malicious Jester, the Galliard of the Black Furies.
Hi, everybody. I'm Walks, and I will be playing Lucas Shaw, Ragabash of the Shadow Lords, and we are the #1 pack in your heart.
Sometimes. Hi, everybody. I'm Preston. I play Jason, Dreams and Decay Thorn, Theurge of the Bonar.
So, Pack, despite being cut short last week, let's get everybody caught up to date on what happened. Aspen had a meeting with her mentor, Matthias Morningkill, getting him caught up on everything that has been happening as of late, as she has been trying to find resources of cold iron, as that seems to be the missing X factor, the solution to this growing threat, these mysterious plants that have been popping up all over the region, sourced from Piney Point, Florida, being grown by a mysterious Pentex organization headed up by that evil witch known as Vanessa, who has been a thorn in your side for quite some time. Cold iron is not an easy resource to find, as with the growth of technology, the growth of the Weaver, cold iron has fallen out of fashion. And now more modern iron is actually impure in the way that it's made. So to source cold iron, it takes very old tactics. It takes an old style of forging. That being said, in her meeting with Matthias, she noticed that he was not feeling himself entirely. And she was worried that he may have fallen to the affliction that seems to be spreading over the region. However, he was able to assure her that he was fine and he wasn't showing any of the telltale signs of the infection that others have seemed to have shown as of late. Though she wasn't completely sure, she left, and he said he would look into things, including a mine that she was able to research up in Michigan that might be such a source of iron that could be used to help combat this problem as of late. Also, Jester had a meeting, had a interaction with, who did she meet with? I am completely lost. Jester, remind me who you met with last week.
Artie.
Yes, she had a catch up with Artie, who she hadn't seen in many months, and they got to have a heart-to-heart, a reconnection, and get back on the same page, which is a long time coming, as they have been the best of friends since they've met and come together as a pack many months and over a year ago. It was a very touching moment, as they have both found love in their time in Tampa, and now they can tease each other about said love like brothers and sisters often do, but they can also share finally in the loss of Aiden and how they feel about it, as they really didn't get the time to do so before they had to part ways, with Artie leaving the state of Florida to travel abroad and to deal with his own feelings of loss. Then Lucas and Jace were meeting at the cairn and talking about everything that had been going on before they started to talk about the staff that Jace had come into possession of from Moses. And unfortunately, that's when we got cut off. So that's where we're going to pick up tonight's story. Lucas and Jace, you are in the workshop that Lucas had recently constructed in the cairn, a building on stilts that had been built by Lucas and with the assistance of Juniper above the ground to help when the flood waters rise, which often happens during storm season, to help protect the structure, but also to help protect against high winds. And now you have the staff. And in inspecting it, you've found that it has a symbol of warding, but it also seems to have a symbol that allows access of some sort. Like a porthole or a port key, it gives access to something, but you're not sure what. Now, Lucas was able to compare it to that of the stones that are used for moon bridges that allow Guru to travel over great distances between cairns. but it's not quite the same. And he wasn't able to decide what it could be used for or what particular entity might use this. And so that's where we begin our scene tonight. The scene is yours.
Lucas will kind of watch Jace for a second and then reach over and grab some paper and some charcoal, and he'll start making rubbings of those 2 runes specifically. I don't know. Oh, go ahead.
I'm trying to wrap my head around. You were saying that it could be like a connection point. Correct me if I'm wrong, but in the connections that we use on either side, like there has to be a door on either side. It's not like a one-way door. Are you saying this could be just a one-way passage? There's possibly not a way out if this is a doorway to somewhere?
I think the issue is not so much that it is or is not a doorway. I think we could pretty much say that it is. It's where it goes and what it gives you access to and whether or not it gets you back. I'm not a Dirge, obviously, and I'm not somebody that has made a lot of talismans before. I've forged one clave. That's the one that we made for Aspen, the one that's hanging up above her seat. So this is a new realm, getting into things that are imbued with the power. But if you don't mind, I would like to take these rubbings and maybe try some experimentation. Maybe see if I can replicate.
Yeah, no, I'm totally game for whatever. I'm not responsible for anything that you do that comes out from this, though, unless it's good. Then actually, no, I want nothing connecting me to what you do, actually, because that usually bites you, and I don't want to get bit.
Oh no, that's fair. If I get in trouble, that's all on me. I'm used to that. It's fine.
Good.
But I mean, really, we're gonna start with the warding runes first, because that seems like that might be the safest thing. If I can copy this technique, maybe I can make another version of it that you can take to your bar and maybe your house, or maybe that you can wear so you don't have to carry the staff around all the time. Now, I'll preface that with I have no idea what I'm doing. So if you put this thing on and you're like, I don't know, unable to talk or like your hair falls out, that is also not my fault.
I'm going to blame you, but I hear what you're saying. When doing things like this, it's one thing to carve something into like you can put a symbol on whatever you want. It's about what you put into it, and that's how these symbols work. So you can carve it and you can make it, but it's the intention that's put behind these things that make them do what they need to do. I'm not an expert in that. I know of it. I know the overall practice. That's not my thing. Like our lovely Eliza, I'm sure, can provide additional insight. But your handiwork would be a huge help in this, though, because my artist skills aren't that great. I'll probably mess up this rune in some some shape or form.
Yeah, I mean, I know basics about Guru runes. I can read them. I was raised around them, but I mean, this stuff, we'll have to figure it out. Trial and error. That's the best course I think we even have. But can you tell me about this guy, this person that gave it to you? That might give me some insight, if that's okay.
Yeah. Like I said, he's a weird, interesting, friendly guy. I met him when I first got into Tampa, and I started moving around and stuff, and I was kind of learning the area, but there's something about him in particular. I have a soft spot for anyone who's impoverished or like downtrodden. I have a draw to them. I can relate to them. But there's something extra about this guy. He was out picking up trash along the boardwalk, and he went out to the beach. And I watched him for a while. He went out to the beach and he started picking up more litter. And it's just kind of odd to see because my time here, I hadn't seen a whole lot of that, of people really caring. So I talked to him, but the guy speaks in riddles. And I love a good mystery, but man, does that aggravate me when I want to know what he's talking about. But he was a few times I've met him. He's selling candles or like getting money for candles to help out some organization a little bit further north at some church or something like that. And that candle that he gave me is that's what got me to seeing Turtle. What he told me before I actually lit this was it will light the way. It will, and it provided more insight than I was anticipating. But this guy, the last time I met him, I was trying to figure him out. I tried every trick that I know without outright breaking the veil, trying to see what this guy knew. But he, like I said, he speaks in riddles, and I'm still trying to decipher everything that he said, but he talked about he'd seen the puppet show of The Mask and the Veil.
Well, I mean, that references us.
Uh-huh.
The Mask. Why does that sound familiar?
Not a clue.
Yeah. Well, I mean, clearly this guy knows the shit that's going on around.
At least aware
behind the
of
scenes.
Right.
I mean, there's weird shit out there, so.
But he always had this staff with him. Like every time I've seen him, he's always had it close by and always within reach. Last time I met him at the bar, he left it leaning against the stool he was on. And like I said, he never goes anywhere without it. Like it's usually by his side or he's like sitting on it underneath his legs.
Bear with me. That feels intentional. And you say you trust this guy?
Trust is a hard thing overall.
Fair.
But I feel like he has good intention because there was one point I went to shake his hand. All noise stopped. Like it was silent. And I've been in interactions overall as a theurge where things get a little funky when you're dealing with stuff, but not like that. Like it was, because we were on the boardwalk, there's tons of people. I shook his hand, complete silence. Like I feel like he doesn't do anything without thinking about it. And the candle he provided was helpful. So trust, kinda, because I think he's wanting to help, but I don't know what his end game is. I don't know if helping me is helping him to whatever his goal is.
That's what I'm getting at. Is everybody has an agenda. Everybody. And I think a big part of unlocking this thing is figuring out what that is. And I mean, it sounds to me like you're just as much of a shit magnet as I am. So.
It's unfortunate, huh?
Yeah, it's a great way to live. But I don't know, it doesn't sound like you could track this guy down very easily either. saying any insight might help us be able to get you, I don't know, trained up on this thing.
I can try meeting with him again. But the thing is, I see him. I try looking for him constantly, and then it's right when I'm about to give up. I'm like, because he said he moves a lot. He's nomadic. He goes from place to place. So every time I'm like, well, he probably moved on. That's kind of when I come across him again.
So the boardwalk,
Boardwalk's usually where I see him.
your bar, right, is where you said?
That's where I had him meet me. Like, I wanted somewhere where we could speak a little bit more freely about things.
Well, if you do manage to get in contact with him and you are going to see him again, I'd love an introduction. Just at least to give him my once over, just to see if I could pick up anything on him.
Yeah. Like I said, he's an enigma. He speaks in riddles. He's very particular about the words that he says. They have a lot of meaning and they hang heavy. It just takes time to break down all the things that he says, because he'll start one sentence with that topic and then he'll answer your second question by bringing it back to the first thing you brought up and continuing his overall, the riddle itself, weaving it further and further.
It sounds infuriating.
As a theater, I kind of enjoy it because that's how like spirits and I interact, kind of. But when I got down to the, like, I need to know, he started riddling further, just aggravating me more.
So if we get him and Eliza together and they start doing that thing together, we're basically going to rip a hole in all of creation into the Umber and it's going to suck everything inside. We can't let that happen.
I did bring up, like, I want her to meet.
That's a terrible idea. That I don't want to be around for, because I don't think I have the patience for that.
I feel like Eliza can pick out and untie the knot that he does better than I can. But I do think they're going to aggravate each other. And you know how Eliza is. She can be a bit short-tempered about things when she wants the answer right then and there.
Yeah, gets a little impatient sometimes, but she means well. She's trying to do something. I respect that.
Yeah.
All right. And Lucas will pick up the staff and reach over onto his workbench and take out a piece of rope and a little small bag. And he'll pull out one of the drawers and he'll take out a little white token. We talked about trust, right?
Yeah.
I just want to try something. He'll put the little token in the bag, tie it to the top of the staff. It's a tracker. Artie gave me a few of them when he left last time. Right, there's mud on this thing. I just want to be sure if it's a gateway and it's also a ward, who the hell knows what it does on its own. So if you feel like you want to go do something and you don't want to be tracked, just take it off. But leave it on for a while, a day or so, and let's just see what happens to it. Nothing happens, then no big deal, right?
No, yeah. I want to know what this thing does too. So
yeah. And if it, like, Fantasia grows legs and walks out every night, I mean, at least it could do a sweep up when it comes back, but it doesn't even look like it's cleaning itself, so I doubt that's a possibility.
Well, its previous owner wasn't always like the cleanest person, and then it picked me, so or is with me.
That's a horrible Bonar stereotype. You should not perpetuate that.
It's not a stereotype if it's true.
Oh, God, don't say that.
I don't do the whole, like, stink thing, but a few of my friends, they can clear a room. And I'm not meaning just, like, with different... I mean actual flatulence. Like, it's nuts.
You said you had a thing for people that have, like, they're downtrodden and lower. Me, it's lost causes, hopeless quests, and bad guys. I don't know. Maybe I got a little compassion in me. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm an idealist. So, fair.
Well, one of the things that he said that to go to this church, and there's a lot of people there that need help. I've been thinking about like possibly going out there to do that. If you want to tag along and do that, there was a soup kitchen back in Columbus I used to help out at.
I could go. Jester and Aspen also went to a church across the water over in St. Pete. So they might be good to take if they would see familiar faces. So I didn't really get involved in that. But if you want me, of course, I'll go. I think we're actually two people in a cairn that aren't allowed to go anywhere by themselves. So that works out if we need to do things.
Yeah, well, you know, normally I have my lovely suited chauffeur that will take me anywhere I want to go. Well, anywhere that they approve for me to go.
Yeah, I know how that feels. Silver Fangs. I know how it feels.
Yeah. But is it the staff itself? Do you think this thing is the door?
Complicated question. I think that maybe not so much a door as a key.
Okay.
Because if it allows you access to something, that means it doesn't allow access to other things. And I know a thing about getting through doors. So this, there's a lot of possibilities in this, and my brain is racing a million miles an hour. But if it's what I think it is, it could allow you to get in and out of a place without anybody knowing you're getting out in and out of a place. Where that is and why nobody should know you're getting in and out of it, that's the big mystery.
Could be helpful though.
Yes, anything to get you in and out of somewhere without being seen. Trust me, the Ragabash, all over that. Want a piece of that, we'll figure it out.
Speaking of Ragabash, I'm gonna be meeting with Artie here probably in a little bit. Anything I should know?
He's
Hard
been
ass,
here.
easy going.
No, he's not a hard ass. Artie's good people. He's been here a while, longer than any of us. Not as long as Eliza, but he grew up here. He's a Ragabash. He's not a lot like me. We're two sides of the same coin, but he's still a fun guy. He's very good with computers, very good. And yeah, him and Aspen are a thing, so be aware of that. And
Okay.
yeah, he's good people. I love Artie to death. If I don't know, if something happened to him, shit would get real tense around here for a long time.
More than it has been?
Yeah, very much so. It's a cairn. It's always going to be tense. Always.
Fair. Yeah. Okay. Fun Ragabash. Same as you, but different. Got it.
Yeah. He's the nicer Ragabash. I'm the meaner one.
You could be meaner, but that's all right.
Oh, I can. Trust me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll keep that in mind. But no, I appreciate your help on this. Maybe I'll bring the staff when I go to meet with him. If he's good with computers, maybe he can pull something.
There's all kinds of shit out there. God knows what he can find.
He likes a challenge. Like this thing's puzzled me, and you found something quickly, which I'm happy you did. But I'm also a little aggravated that you picked something up so quickly.
Well, it's putting things together, the way things are made. I don't know. It's a thing that I'm into now. Building. A little Glasswalker influence on me, I guess. I don't know.
Fair. Is that rune the door one on any other part of the staff, or is it just that one?
As far as you can tell, it's just the single rune.
Okay. All right. Well, I will. I'll keep the tracker on, and then if I come across anything, I'm gonna keep working with Eliza and see what I can get off of this at all. Is there anything you? I'm here at the Cairn a lot. Is there anything you need from me here?
I don't know. I just finished this project. I haven't quite thought about the next one, but this staff is very hard wood. How good are you swinging something around?
No.
Well, I mean, I could teach you some basics. So
Okay. Let's keep it like super basic. Like let's start at like level 0. and
yeah.
we'll
Oh yeah. I'm gonna
work
teach you
our
how to
way
hit
up.
somebody in the legs and knock them over so you can run away. That's where we're gonna start.
I think that's fair. And then I'll have the gun, and then I can shoot him or something. Although
Yeah.
still haven't gotten that back from Charles, but that's fine.
That's probably a good choice. All right. Let's come on. I'll show you some stuff.
All right.
So as the two guru climb out of the workshop, heading to an open space to start working with the staff, what's going through both of your minds now that there's a new mystery to be uncovered with this staff? Lucas, we'll start with you.
Growing up in a cairn, and also having a clave, talismans are an integral part of the way that we fight the worm. From the moment we forged the clave for the sept leader and seeing Star do something to it, at which point we still don't know what Star did, there has to be something out there, some lost thing out there for imbuing objects with power. I mean, Guru have done it. How do you do it? So that is more or less what Lucas is thinking about right now. Like, how do you make talismans, and how badly could getting that wrong go?
And Jace.
Thinking about the secret that he finally revealed to Lucas, and feeling a little bit better about putting it out there, but there are other things that he wants to talk about that he's not ready to broach the subject on. And this Moses guy, every time he talks about him, more and more questions pop up. And this staff finding out that one of these symbols could be a key or a door, but then brings up more questions. To what? For what? What does it hold inside? Is there a way out? Is it a one way? His brain's going a mile a minute trying to figure this out, and he's just trying to maintain the regular guru side. He doesn't want to get too focused on one thing and get lost in his own mind, because his mind is somewhere that he can't completely trust right now.
That feeling of vulnerability is very uncomfortable, especially for a bone gnar. They prefer to be the one in control, the one making others feel vulnerable. It's a very, very, very uncomfortable place to be, especially for dreams in decay. We transition now to our next scene as Aspen continues her search for cold iron and answers. Aspen, with Matthias still on your mind, trying to push that to the back, you head to work, your newly opened law office with your partner, Anna Pelfrey. Things are going well. The business is picking up. This partnership with Miss Pelfrey has been a success. Anna Pelfrey, being a former DA from Chicago, her name carries some weight. Now, she's been out of the business for a while, but clearly she still has a great deal of reputation, because ever since she's come out of retirement, she has made quite a splash here in Tampa. and you've already started to see business pick up for you. Cases have started to come in at a pretty rapid rate, and you've already had to pick up a few associates at the firm. So when you come into the office, you can already see a stack of folders awaiting you at the desk, a receptionist greeting you as you walk inside. You take the elevators up to the top floor, and some of the previously empty desks in the pool for the associates have already been filled. Passing your corner office, you head to the other corner office of Anna, Eyes of the Sea, Pelfrey, your partner and associate. Walking in, you see the elder guru sitting behind her desk, her brown hair done up very neatly in a bun, her blazer done just so. As she sits behind the desk, the Ghost Council Galliard staring down at her own stack of folders, writing neatly on a document before she looks up to you behind her spectacles and gives a small smile. Miss Weiss,
Miss Pelfrey.
what can I do for you?
Well, first off, just checking to see how everything is going for you here while we have a second of, well, where it's not too busy.
I have to be honest, I didn't think I'd be doing as much work as I have been, but it feels good to stretch these legs again. And you've been busy as of late.
There's a lot to be busy for here, so.
So I've heard. I had a visit from Mr. Shaw recently. It was pleasant. Nothing to worry about.
Good. He's pleasant for the most part. And she'll make sure the doors kind of close behind her.
Surprisingly so. Have a seat.
She'll shuffle into the seat, see like a cup of pens, and she'll just grab a black one and stick it into her purse.
He asked if I had any interest in coming by the cairn. Said that there were positions to be filled. I said that if I was needed, the leader would let me know. But that there was a reason I stepped away from the politics. I can only assume that you're here because you need something outside of the typical business of the firm. You would have sent a memo for that.
Well, I think it's good to have you caught up as somebody a part of this, even if you're not into the politics here. It's good for you to know what's going on with all of your help and all.
Fair enough.
Not sure how much Lucas told you about the plant situation we're having.
A bit. Seems that things are getting problematic.
It has ramped up quite a bit in the coming weeks. We have an idea of a potential fix for everything, but that comes with its issues of Lucas having a friend who has been infected and Jason being infected himself and all that comes with that. We're finding new and strange iterations of the plants, it seems, every day. So that comes with its problems as well. But hopefully, if everything goes well, we can come up with a quick and easy fix.
Good. And what do you need me for?
Well, I know that Chicago has potentially more connections than we do here. I don't know all of your history, and I've not been to Chicago, so I'm not sure how connected you all are in the grand scheme of things, but we've hit a snag in our, I guess you could say, cure for the plant situation. It seems that cold iron is a much needed ingredient in the eradication of all of these plants.
Her eyebrows raise slightly at the mention of cold iron. Interesting. That is a unique solution. While the resources of the Sept of Jupiter are vast, most of our resources have been in our manpower and our knowledge, less in, well, physical resource.
Understandable. But at this point, I think anything that we can do to eradicate the problem would behoove both of us in the grand scheme of things. I worry that Chicago could be a prime problematic place if these were to get out farther. They're already in Hell, Michigan, which I've spoken with Matthias about the potential of a mine up there for cold iron. But with you being so close, you and Chicago being so close to that, it could be an issue for you all there as well.
Agreed. I stepped away from the politics of the Sept many years ago, but I am still looked upon favorably by the leadership there. I could make a few calls, possibly venture up there and visit to see what resources are still available, see if they've come upon anything else. We had some issues with ghosts in the past, and we did use cold iron previously to deal with such things. If those resources are still available, and if they're not immediately needed, I'll see what I can do about procuring them. But it was a limited resource. It wasn't something commonly available or held, and knowing them, they'll want something for it.
I assumed that would be the case and was offering up whatever they would see fit for trade, or any issues that we could take care of from here, or if they needed something that we could quickly help with up there. I'm open to an exchange.
See what I can do about brokering an agreement.
I appreciate that.
Of course. If this is as grand of a threat as it seems to be, it is for the good of all of us. Unfortunately, as you are well aware, the nation is not as unified as it once was, and the factions have become more self-serving and more independent. And while it would be easy to say, yes, for the greater good, we should all come together to combat these threats, we must remember that everyone is facing their own threats. And it's hard to say which is more important than the other. This does seem dire, but who's to say that what they're facing isn't also equally dire and equally dangerous to what we're facing, and what could affect us here as well. So, I wouldn't consider this to be any greater a threat than anything else. We must consider that when in dealings with other septs. But I will reach out to them, and I will stress the urgency of the matter, and we'll take it from there.
Absolutely understandable. I just saw the potential that this could be a big problem for
course.
Chicago in the very near future. I don't know how quickly they're all working, as far as who's making the plants and where they're going, and how fertilizer can move so quickly between spaces, and it just being 4 hours away from a place that already has a problematic past with all of this. I thought it would be in all of our best interests to kind of work on it together so it doesn't become a bigger problem for them up in Chicago.
Certainly. Well, with the tenuous truce with the leeches of Chicago, we always must be on our guard in the Sept of Jupiter. So it is hard to not be constantly watching our back and paranoid of what could potentially lead to another war. It's hard to watch out for other threats when there is always a threat looming at all times. But I will make them aware of the situation. Certainly.
I appreciate that. And also, having a zombie plant vampires, probably not the best idea up there if it's already contentious.
That would be problematic, yes.
I agree.
Speaking of which, have we seen what effects it has on the leeches?
Not in person. We do know that they can be affected in the same way, just like we can be affected. It is a slower burn for us, of course, with our regenerative properties. As far as the leeches go, I'm not exactly sure how all of that is affecting them, but I know that it is affecting them. And once we get more information on that, I'd love to share more.
Anything you know would be helpful. I can pass the information along to Chicago, and that would be quite valuable if they can prepare for anything or at least know what to look out for. That will help ease the deal, certainly.
Yeah, of course. We know of several different plants. We know of ones that explode into fungus, and that's what can be inhaled. And that's where the infection starts, is a fungal within the blood that changes a person. And it can cause a hive mind type mindset between several individuals, including Guru that we know of, as we saw with Jason. And there's flying plants and silver plants. I can get you some information on all of it and some pictures in a discreet way, of course, so you have them available to give information up there so they're prepared properly.
Excellent. Yes, the more information, the better. While I know such things are sensitive, the better informed we are, the better we can be on the lookout. If this has, in fact, spread, we need to know how far and what threat it looms, because if we can't eradicate it on all fronts, what efforts we do here will mean little if it's just going to continue to spread elsewhere.
I completely agree with you. And we know that the plants tend to thrive best in humid climates. So that's where I'm keeping an eye for now, where they would most likely pop up in the near future. But as we all know, plants can evolve, and who knows if they can find their way into other places, or if they come up with plants that do thrive in more arid temperatures and climates. I'm not sure yet, but if we can stop it before it gets that far, that's my hope.
Agreed. Very good. I'll get me any information you can. I will open up communications with the Sept up north, and we'll go from there.
Perfect. I do have another question. I guess it's more advice when it comes to what we do here than a professional exchange.
Of course.
There is a new pack here, obviously, that you know of, that we've been training and having help, and They're doing well. They're doing good. But a concern I have is that they feel they don't have roots or a cause here, in that way.
The end of the world isn't cause enough.
Well, you can fight the end of the world anywhere, apparently, with what we do.
Of course.
But
understand.
roots here.
When they're young, grandiose ideas seem a little out of reach. I'm sure you struggled with it at first, too. I know I did. But it was a
Yes.
simpler time when I had my first change, and I'm sure it gets more and more complicated as time passes. Please continue.
Right. I know I struggled a lot in the beginning, trying to find a place and figure out what I was doing here, and I'm still doing that, if I'm being completely honest. But there's one. Her name is Delphine. She shows interest in wanting to get roots, and I offered a potential of her working here, not anything large or damning in any way, clerk when we need it. I also offered to help her through school so she has proper education to move up through here if that's what she desires. There is a problem in all of that that I think I'm on the fence on, and she struggles with drugs, and I worry that bringing that here may cause us more problems than good, but I also can't help but think that giving them a route to roots is also a good idea.
Anna pauses for a moment as she considers. Addiction is a terrible thing as a whole. It's even more difficult for Guru because we tell mortals, humans, that it will kill them because it will. It's not the same for Guru. She could live her entire life with this addiction, and all it will do is slow her down. It won't kill her. All it will do is compromise her. Everything that you would tell a typical addict doesn't apply in this case. That makes it even more difficult to convince them to stop. Do you know if she had this addiction before her change?
I believe that it's been a long-standing situation.
In the field we work in, as you're well aware, we deal with very sensitive information. And even as a clerk, she will be privy to that sensitive information. If she is compromised even a little, that is a very big risk for us. Not just professionally, but personally and as Guru. Yes, it is a potential path to help her, but it is a great risk.
think the thing that makes me even come here to consider it and to get advice from you is, as somebody who's made mistakes and have had people see me and allow me to learn from my mistakes and give me chance to be better and do better. I think it would be hypocritical of me to not do the same.
She gives a sympathetic smile as she looks to you. The difference was your mistake was for the benefit of others. The potential mistake that she could make would be only for the benefit of herself. And truthfully, it wouldn't even be a benefit. It would just be a continued drawback. It's not the same. But I see your point. She is our cousin, one way or another. And if we don't help her, she is on a surefire path to either Hirano, Hoglosk, or something much, much worse. So in a way, it is our obligation to do something. If this is the course of action that you think is best, I would do so very cautiously. Very cautiously. A little bit at a time. And I would take great pains and steps towards moving this addiction away from her, whatever it takes. Because the minute she is compromised, the minute someone needs something from her, the minute someone discovers she has access, and there's a way to get something from her, they will use it. And you know the enemies we're up against, especially in the path we've chosen. But I won't stand in the way of this. I too have seen struggle and strife. But I have also seen this go badly before.
Understand. I think maybe taking it slow might be best. I can help her with her school, bring her in from time to time when I'm here, give them extra income or whatever they need, and start making choices or suggestions to get her on a better path. And we'll see what I can do.
Great. And I will have my eyes always watching. At least while I'm here, but I can't always be here. I do have loyalties elsewhere and other responsibilities to still tend to back in Chicago. But I will do what I can when I am here.
I appreciate your advisement and all of it. And I'll make sure that this responsibility wholly is on me in whatever way I can. But I do appreciate the help when it's needed.
No responsibility is wholly on you. That was your mistake the first time. That is why you're the oath breaker, is because you believed it was all on you. But it's never all on you. You have a pack and now a sept to share that responsibility with. And hopefully, if this grandiose dream of Matthias is even possible, one day, a nation once again to share that responsibility with. If you try to shoulder all the burden yourself, you will collapse and crumble beneath the weight of it. It already happened once. You just recovered from it.
I understand. And I appreciate whatever help you give us and all the help you've given us already. And if I need the help with this, I will definitely come to you. And I mean that wholeheartedly. But also, you're already doing quite a bit here for me with all of this. So if I can make it a little bit easier for you, I'm going to.
I'm sure you will. I have no doubt. And if you need help at the cairn, please let me know. I've gotten a bit older, and I think you already have one elder guru wandering those grounds. But if you need me, and I am in town, I will assist, especially with the rites or rituals, but it's a young wolf's game.
You're always welcome. Whenever you need a little space outside of all of the hustle and bustle, you're always welcome there.
Thank you. Now I believe you have a stack of folders to look through of your very own that have been awaiting you.
I will tell you.
Requisitions.
I will tell you. I am not even being a little bit sarcastic when I tell you I am so excited as she gets up from her seat.
I'm sure you are. See you soon, Miss Weiss.
You too. Thank you.
As you step out of the office, heading back to your own, sitting behind your desk, eagerly grabbing for the folders, looking over requisition forms and new cases. What's going through your mind after this interaction with Anna Eyes of the Sea Pelfrey?
It's nice to know as you move through the spaces, first talking to Matthias and now talking to Pelfrey, that we do have allies and we have people here. And it's not just us alone anymore, which is strange, but also comforting, and learning to move through those spaces and not do it all alone, just our little pack or now our little sept is strange, but it's really good to know that those baby steps and all those mistakes and all those setbacks have brought us to this point, and now things that could have been seen as big and daunting feel a bit easier, even if it comes to finding cold iron that nobody looks for anymore.
As you dive into work, with a little bit of weight released from your shoulders. You know you've done what you can for now, but it always feels like there's more to do. But for the moment, you set that aside and actually embrace the third of you that is a person. Delve a little more into that life, putting the wolf and the spirit aside, at least for a couple of hours. And now we transition to our final scene of the first half of tonight's story. Jester. You and Charles were given some intel by the other pack, who have been tasked with scouting out around the city. 3 locations had been built by the organization known as High Quality Builders. One of them you had been to previously, a remodel job of an apartment complex by the airport. This was the complex where you had found the bushes that had silver within their branches, silver thorns that could reach out and literally snare and seemed to be attracted to Guru. You wanted to follow up on this particular apartment complex, so you and Charles this evening go to scout. Now, what intel you had been given is that there apparently was a security fence with a security booth put up around the complex. So you knew you were going to approach with caution at this particular instance. So as you and Charles take the drive out this evening, what's going through your mind as you head towards the apartment complex?
Wondering if we're going to need to get in, if anybody has moved in, if they put a security booth up, most likely. And thinking about what Charles and Deadbeat found at the other housing development, I'm wondering if there's anything like that in the foundation of these apartment complexes.
As Charles sits behind the steering wheel of the car, staring ahead as he drives towards the complex, he eventually speaks up. I'm sure it was an isolated incident, you know.
What? There being a crazy werewolf vampire thing buried in cement?
Yes. I can't even be completely positive that's what that was. It's just... it was unnatural.
Yeah, but one thing's been bugging me about these complexes is they were trying to protect it against us. You don't put those bushes there for normal people,
No.
other vampires, other things. It was for us. So why?
We have been the biggest threat to them.
They didn't put it at the other housing developments. At least not the one we went to earlier. I looked, there weren't any there.
This is close to the airport, and Pentex does a great deal of business internationally. Perhaps they expect to bring high-level executives in and out, and they want the the best protection for those executives.
Maybe.
Speak plainly.
Just wish I'd gone inside, taken a closer look. The security's up. May not get the chance tonight.
Maybe not. But what if you had found something?
Maybe we could have taken care of it.
Or maybe not. I'm not sure.
Fair.
I wasn't lucky that Deadbeat and I were able to take care of the one we found.
Do you think it would have been a threat to you?
Yes. There's very
That's
few
somehow
things
more
in this
frightening.
world that scare me, Jester. And I was actually for a moment afraid.
Yeah, that's unsettling. Look, I'm tired of us constantly playing catch up. This feels like over the last months, that's all we've been doing. And hopefully with the discovery we've made, and we can get some iron and actually start making changes instead of just trying to stop the spread.
You want to go on the offensive.
Yeah.
I understand. It has been some time since we've been able to successfully strike they've always been a step ahead, and the leeches seem like less of a threat lately. If anything, they seem like potential collateral damage should they get infected.
Yeah. And it seems that for the plants we end up destroying, like 10 more show up. We don't even know how many people have been infected by these spores.
Would you be willing to try an exercise with me?
Of course.
Whenever we feel particularly overwhelmed or frustrated with a situation, why don't we try something called worst case scenario? And in this exercise, we will go back and forth stating what we believe the worst case scenario to be. Just so that we can get it out of our system. Then perhaps it'll make the truth seem more manageable.
Okay. It's interesting. Sure.
If it'll help, I'll go first.
Yeah, please.
The entire population of Miami is infected.
Miami?
And Yes, and a group of spring breakers have already returned home and infected their entire hometowns, and this is a fruitless exercise to try and cure this problem as most of the United States has become infected. Your turn.
Okay. Damn, that's pretty bad. It's close to the same one you have, but the company responsible for this starts marketing these their fertilizer to more places, and that spreads the infection and the control. And so yeah, the country becomes infected, but at the same time, uh, as they seem to have connections into pharmaceutical, any sort of cure they will control. So even trying to make a cure and get it spread to people is almost impossible.
Or it will benefit them one way or another. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
That is pretty bad. My turn. We do find a cure. We siege Piney Point. And as we're breaking into the facility, we get to the greenhouse and you meet Vanessa and find yourself overwhelmingly attracted to her and decide to spare her life as you have had a sexual awakening and choose her over me. And you see a small smile tug at the corner of his lips.
Or you become unbearably attracted to her, and the awakening of you've already had, is just exacerbated by her, and both you and Lucas just become her like harem or something.
Impossible. I find blondes unbearable. You've seen my relationship with Aspen.
Fair, and if I was gonna go for any girl, it'd be Chloe.
I respect your relationship with Chloe. Now, doesn't that make the truth seem a little more bearable?
Yeah.
Good, because we're here. He pulls into a parking lot just down the street from the apartment complex and parks the car. He looks over at you. We will figure this out.
I know. Thanks. And I love you.
I love you. And he climbs out of the car.
I'll climb out as well.
He moves to the trunk of the car and pauses by it, considering for a moment. Reconnaissance, right?
I believe so, yes.
As he's holding the handle to pop the trunk, he then just releases it and shakes his head. We'll just go look. And then he offers out a hand to you.
I'll take his hand.
You start walking down the street. As you reach the corner, heading towards the apartment complex, roll me a wits and awareness.
Two successes.
Looking down the street at the apartment complex, it is as it was described. A fence has been erected. Now, you know that there were bushes originally lining the sidewalk and lining the driveways. There are still those bushes. However, there seems to be also a fence that has been erected lining the property around the apartment complex. And the fence goes all the way to the driveway, where it appears there is a automated gate that opens and closes, as well as a guard booth that is manned with an individual at the said guard booth that checks ID badges to open and close the gate. You don't make out any other features of the property currently, but you can see that Charles is looking a little bit closer and his head is tilted up as if he's looking upwards above the buildings themselves.
Is the fence like is it like barred, like you can see through it, or is it
it's like a
closed?
wrought
Okay.
iron fence with bars.
Cool. I'll glance up in the direction he's looking.
He lifts an arm and points, and as you follow the direction that he's pointing, you squint your eyes a little bit to look through the dark to try and see what he's gesturing at. Roll me a wits and investigation, and I'll give you an additional die from his assistants to see what it is he's gesturing towards.
Okay. Uh, 5 successes with a crit.
As you stare a little more intently in the direction of his pointing, that's when you see an individual on top of the roof of the apartment building. And then as you follow the edge of the roof, there's another. And then looking over to the second building, another. And another. Sentries positioned on top of the roofs of the apartment buildings. Barely visible. They seem to be positioned kneeled, just out of sight, but you can see their heads poked up over the edge of the roofs. And sniper rifles poised over the roofs.
Does it seem if they've noticed us?
No, you are
Okay.
a good distance and you're outside of the fence.
All right.
What apartment complex needs that?
No normal one, but we knew it wasn't normal.
Now even less so. At this point,
Truck.
you see headlights turn on inside of the complex as an SUV pulls up in front of one of the buildings. Go on, what were you going to say?
I was just kind of thinking back, like, any idea? I was like, drug cartels, gangs, mafia, maybe. megacorps that do dirty stuff. But anyways,
That would give credence to what we feared and thought.
yeah.
As you use the same investigation roll, looking towards the SUV, the front doors of one of the apartment buildings open up, and a group of suited individuals come walking out. First, most of them appear to be security that go walking out. Men who have, bulletproof vests on, hired private security guards who step out and flank the entryway, kind of checking in all directions as they step out, making a pathway towards the car. One of them walking out in front, opening the doorway to the car. And as you stare, you see who it is they're protecting, as a man walks out the front of the building. A face you haven't seen in many, many months. Possibly not since he was on the news. Edward Bateman walks out the front of the apartment building, dressed in a very fine business suit. But he's not alone, because on his arm is Mia, dressed in a very nice gown. And worse than that, she's pale. Roll me a resolve and composure.
What's my rage at?
I would say you're at a rage 2.
Okay. 3 successes.
Swallowing down the rage that almost explodes out of your stomach, you are able to put a cap on top of it, just bottling it down, stopping the growl that wants to emanate from your throat. As you see Edward lead Mia to the car, helping her into the vehicle before he himself moves around the car and climbs in the other side.
Before they go in, am I close enough to be able to use Sense the True Form?
They are quite a distance away. I'm not sure it would be helpful at this point. Like, they're easily more than 100 yards away. Probably,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
It's the crit and the good successes that got you to even be able to make out that much detail about them.
Okay. I'll go very still as the tunnel vision just focuses on them, and though I've tapped it down, the embers inside me will start to roar.
Jester.
It won't respond as my mind starts going through things. We could follow the car. Stop it before it gets to wherever its destination. Charles could take out the guards. Shouldn't be a problem. Not sure what's happened to Mia, but we could probably incapacitate her. then I could take things slowly with Bateman. Starting with his mouth, maybe rip his jaw off, take out his eyes.
Jester.
Then start with taking the fingers, one joint at a time.
The car pulls out of the front of the building and pauses at the end of the circle, where you see 3 more SUVs start up out in the parking lot and pull out to join the procession. This was reconnaissance, Jester.
So we should follow them
Where?
to where they're going.
Can do that. But we should not engage.
But it's a chance.
Chance at what?
To get him. To get Mia.
We don't know what they have. If they're in that building, they're working with Pentex.
Aren't people weakest when they're traveling?
Depends on where they're traveling to. Let's follow them. We'll start with that.
Fine.
Turn and head back to the car. And as you climb in, start the engine, but keep the headlights off just in time to see the procession of the 4 vehicles pull out onto the main street. As you start to follow them, you see them turn out onto a main road. And as you follow them for a few miles, you see exactly where they're headed when they turn into a private entrance leading into Tampa International Airport. When they pull into the entryway, they stop at another guard booth, as this is the entryway to the private runways where most of the private jets are found. Charles pauses before the driveway, looking over to you. I can get us into that runway. We do have a private plane there. But this will destroy our cover. Any cover we have.
How many guards got in the first SUV?
You didn't see, they were already in the SUV.
Oh, well, how many came with him? Like, in the one he was in?
Oh, there were 4 in the SUV he was in, but there were 3 other SUVs that joined him that were already had people in them, as far as you know.
So, low estimate, 6 per SUV. It's a lot of people. Don't know how many are.
We don't know how many are leeches and how many are
Thralls.
servitors. We don't know what they're equipped with.
I have, back to thinking quietly, I have no doubt that Charles could probably take nearly everybody in those SUVs. But it would be an issue and it would blow our cover. And even if I got to Bateman, he still could get to my mind. He got to Joseph's mind the first time, and Joseph deals with spirits in a stronger mind than I am. Just not ready yet. Just shake my head. No.
I will get you your chance. I promise. He continues driving as you see the SUVs pull past the guard booth, driving further out of sight into the airport.
Will you teach me how to fight without seeing?
I'll teach you
hearing.
everything I know. You
I
feel.
need to.
Oh, go ahead.
I need to hit something, or run, or I need to hunt. I need to hunt.
Let's go back to the cairn. As you feel Bateman and Mia slip through your fingers, what goes through your mind as you drive further away from the airport, headed northeast, back towards what has become your home?
Slowly tamping down the fire raging inside of me. As I'm doing it, I'm wondering, has Mia been turned? Is it too late for her? Did I take too long again? And still not ready, but I can wait. Can wait.
You may have gotten lucky in holding that anger in this time. But in your next encounter with Edward Bateman, will you be able to contain it again? We'll be back in just a few minutes with the second half of tonight's story. See you shortly. And we're back. In the first half, we finally got to finish that conversation between Jace and Lucas that started last week as they delved into the secrets about the staff that Moses left with Jason at the Split Helm. We also got to see Aspen catch up with Anna Pelfrey, her law partner and a elder guru from the Sept of Jupiter, where she inquired more about cold iron and if the Sept of Jupiter could be any help, as well as inquired about whether or not they could help Delphine Ruinspeaker of the Hellhounds in getting a job at the law firm and maybe breaking her of the addiction a certain drug has on her. Then Jester and Charles went to explore the apartment complex, and they found one of the secrets hiding within in the form of Edward Bateman and her old friend Mia from the Stheno activist group that she had lost contact with and lost hold of many, many, many months ago. Now, in the second half, we return to the Split Helm as Jason Dreams and Decay Thorn meets with the Ragabash, Artie, at the Split Helm, who is setting him up with a liquor license and a food license and bringing some legitimacy to his business through less legitimate means. So here we are in the Split Helm, a repurposed warehouse down by the water in Tampa in the warehouse district. Now, the inside has been repurposed to be a bar with long wooden tables made out of planks, a bar top put on top of barrels off to one side with, stools lining it. And Artie seems to be sitting at one of these stools with a laptop propped open on the bar top itself. The laptop covered in stickers, one for a Monster Energy drink, another one of Garfield the cat, another one of a slice of pizza. And he's sitting, typing at the computer, his glasses reflecting the light of the screen. Okay. I think this should take care of the liquor license. So you're going to be serving beer and liquor, like full bar?
Yeah, that seems to be what helps the patrons out, just kind of keep their mind off things.
Yeah, I imagine it would.
Yeah, because when it's just beer, that's when they're like, we want liquor, and if I just have liquor, and it just becomes confusing. So if I could get just both.
Yeah, I got you.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, I got you. We're gonna repurpose a liquor license from an establishment that just got closed not too long ago. They probably won't notice that it got transferred. And you want food also, right?
Yeah, I got a new grill installed not too long ago, and Jester was letting me know that they were getting mad because they couldn't eat here also, so had to get that taken care of.
Okay. You are going to be getting health inspections from a non-existent health inspector. So, just make sure it looks clean, because if they call, they're probably going to send someone on the spot, and you don't want that. So just,
Okay.
just make it clean enough that nobody complains.
Let's see what I can do.
Just keeps typing away. So, I heard you came from Ohio. How are you settling in here?
The people are different here for sure. That hospitality that you get up there is a lot different than what is down here.
That's the truth.
Or lack thereof hospitality, I guess I could say.
Yeah, they are a very different breed up there. Found that out firsthand on my travel across the country. I stopped at a lot of different Seps and Cairns, and while I've seen most of those folks at Moods before, this was a whole different ball game seeing them in their own backyards. Like, boy, oh boy, way less friendly when they're not there to party.
Yeah, well, they're all business until a party shows up, and then that's the only thing that matters until the party's done. And then cleanup is someone else's problem.
Absolutely. Yeah, you don't want to host the party, but you're more than happy to go and celebrate for sure. And if you're hosting, you're not thinking about the cleanup until everybody's gone, because then that's just a whole different ball game. And we're not looking forward to hosting, but I'm sure we're gonna end up doing it at some point, knowing Aspen.
Yeah, she seems like the hosting type.
Oh,
I feel like her
sure.
parties are gonna be a little different than what I'm used to.
Oh, they'll be great. And I'm sure Lucas will make sure they're great, knowing him too. Speaking of which, what do you think of Aspen?
She's all right. She's changed a lot just from me being here. It's very business oriented when I first came. Like I've been to a lot of different like meetings and stuff with different crew. And I've heard the ones about Silver Fangs, but she was this is the brass tacks, this is how we're going to do things, this is the lay of the land, this is how we're going to run things. Common stuff, but from a Silver Fang just came off more of a I'm on a pedestal kind of thing.
Yeah, you came at a really bad time to meet Aspen. Things were bad when you got here, and you're actually getting to meet Aspen now. You're not meeting Miss Weiss, the Philodox. You're meeting Aspen, the real Aspen.
She's a lot better. Granted, when I first met everyone, I just walked into the Cairn.
Oh boy.
So yeah. Rat, he came to the bar and we were talking a little bit about everything, and he's like, "You want to go?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I don't know if anyone told you, but I was here for several weeks before actually meeting everyone.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That's even I know you don't do that. I mean, I was here by myself, so at least nobody could say I was in their territory. Like there was nobody's territory when I guess it was kind of Ryder's, but he was a fucking nut, so he didn't even care. But yeah, that's wow.
Yeah, 3 weeks, and I just kind of dropped in. So I got the whole questioning, got to meet Charles up front, so that was great. 2 Silver Fangs right off the bat, just talking at me. But when I said that Rat brought me, that changed a lot of the demeanor that happened, which was
That's
great.
good.
I looked like they were gonna jump at me, claws, swords, all that kind of stuff coming. So yeah, it could have gone really bad, but luckily Rat came with. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't be here.
We had a lot of dealings with Rat right before you showed up, which is probably must have been like a foretelling or something of your arrival, to be honest, because he was around quite a bit actually right before I left, and maybe it was fate or the spirit's dealings or something, but yeah, we saw quite a bit of him. So I guess that's a good thing then, to smooth over your arrival, that he was there to show the way. So I'm glad it was easy.
Yeah, he was saying that you guys were needing help, and he was seeing it like firsthand that you guys were in a hole, and instead of trying to make stairs up, it just seemed that the slope kept getting steeper and steeper. So he told me to come down and try and help.
It was rough going there for a little bit. You got to understand, this place, we had to figure it all out for ourselves starting out. I mean, I changed, and there was no one here to meet me. There was no kin seeker. There was nobody found me. Nobody told me what I was. Nobody showed me the way. Like I turned, and I thought I was the only one for a very long time. I thought I was the only, like, that this happened to me. It took years before I found more, and I was brought to a moot, and I learned all about this whole wild world of Guru and Gaia and all this, craziness. I was just surviving and figuring it all out on my own. So this city has a history of that. And so when Aspen and Jester and Aiden and Joseph all came to town. They were brought here in a similar way you were by spirits. Something called them, and we all came together and we all just built something without a lot of help, without a lot of instruction. And, you know, Eliza came into the picture and she helped us figure it out, but she, you know, she's a stargazer, and that brings its own bit of controversy, but it's not like the nation came knocking, wanting to help us. This was a lost cause of a city, and everybody has their own problems, as we've all come to learn. And we couldn't give up on it, because there was a reason we were brought here, just like there's a reason you were brought here. And so we figured it out on our own, without a lot of help. And so, does that ruffle some feathers and rub people the wrong way? Yeah, absolutely. And did we make mistakes? Definitely. But do we take it back? Do we regret it? No. Because it's made us better guru. It's taught us what we need to know. And Aspen, even though she is shamed and wears her shame openly, she's a better leader because of it. And she needed to take that L so that she can get the W's that we need her to get now. Because it could have been so much worse. It could have been devastating. I mean, if you don't know what we were up against, man. Like,
It sounds really hard.
Storm, like just storm, not, you know, oh, a tornado or a, you know, thundercloud. Storm was bearing down on us, and she had to make a decision, and there weren't a lot of good choices, and I didn't make it easier on her. I was willing to sacrifice basically myself. And I know she wasn't going to choose that. And was it maybe selfish? Maybe. But we only had each other. It was hard to think outside of that. And yeah, we got our repercussions for it. We got our whooping for it. And we got our shame for it. And we got our, you know, we got our comeuppance for it. And we'll probably be paying for it for a while. That's fine. And we're trying to be better. We're trying to reach out, and we're trying to, I mean, I went out there and I looked those people in the face, and for some of them I took a beating. Many, many beatings. But I wouldn't take it back. And I wouldn't ask Aspen to take it back. I wouldn't ask any of them to take it back, because I can't say that they would have done it differently if they were in our shoes.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Well, and you can't change the past. It's already been written. You can only learn from the mistakes that have been created. And unfortunately, the mistakes are, you're still feeling there's repercussions, but it seems like you guys are taking the correct steps to try and get out of it. Although being by yourself when a sept falls sounds terrible.
Well, it fell before I got here. It fell. I changed apparently shortly after it fell. And then I was here. Everyone was dead, I guess. I changed at the best and worst possible time, I guess. I had to be around for the fallout, but taught me how to survive. Taught me how to, you know, figure it all out. And I'm glad I was here when they got here, because they were all pretty young and new to this whole thing, and some of them were struggling to adapt. And I knew what it was like to not have support. So I think I was able to help them be okay with that.
Okay.
And I'm just. It was nice. It was nice. It all worked out.
So when you were here, there was basically nothing. Then Aspen and the whole group comes in. So were you a leader in a sense when
No.
that all happened? Okay. All right.
No. I'm not a leader. I consider myself a cheerleader, but a critic, an advisor, but also, I'm gonna tell you if I don't like something, but I'll support
Good.
you if you do it anyway, because we're all guru and we need to do what we've got to do. And I don't know everything. And I'm going to stand beside you, even if it means our downfall, because that's what we do. We made some questionable decisions I didn't agree with. I basically signed away my soul. But I would do it again because I can't be without her. I can't be without any of them.
Well, you got a strong family, a good pack.
Sounds like you do too.
Yeah. Try and make a new one though. Trying to integrate, but I'm not trying to ruffle too many feathers. From what it sounds like, I'm going to be here for a bit.
I know the idea of the nation or a new nation seems blasphemous or far-fetched, but I thought it was insane to begin with too. I mean, the idea of the old nation seemed ridiculous because I saw it crumble over the last decade. I watched it in its death throes as it was just fracturing more and more apart, and as Albrecht fell more and more into insanity, depression. But when I see leaders like Aspen, and I see people like the elders like Pelfrey and Eliza just coming to the cause, maybe there's something to it. Maybe there's a possibility for a future here. And I don't think we all have to be worried about our own ambitions anymore. If we all work together. I see everybody hurting, and I see the struggle we're all going through. I saw it firsthand going across the country. I witnessed how everyone is fighting on their own fronts and how our numbers are dwindling and how more and more old guru are passing on or going away. And I know we're losing. And I think that part of that is because we're holding on to something that's broken. Really broken. Really broken.
Oh no, I agree. There are a lot of things that don't make sense. And Columbus, we run things a little differently than the traditional overall nation, but they still stay true. So it's a bit of a culture shock being here. But I like a lot of the ideas that are being thrown around. Kind of like the whole second chance, maybe a third chance idea about things. It seems to be beneficial for a lot of the guru here.
Yeah, I mean, we don't believe that there's anything like a lost cause, which I'm sure is waiting in the wings to bite us in the ass at some point, but when you give up on somebody, you're just giving the enemy another asset.
Correct. I 100% agree. The way that, sorry, I'm going to nerd out a little bit. The way that Banes work in general is that they're attracted to some form of suffering. And if we don't try to help out those people who are in need, we're just feeding the worm army. That's what it kind of boils down to. That's why I try to help as many people who are struggling as I can. So no, I'm 100% on board with that. Lucas has an interesting take on worm, though.
Yeah.
He was trying to. He asked me about how, if there are a way for worm to not be like inherently bad, but they're just there to clean up, which I like the idea. I think that's great. I haven't heard that perspective before, so I don't know. Is that overall consensus on what you guys are kind of thinking?
Not entirely. You talk to Charles. Charles is definitely the old mindset in regards to that. But I think that Eliza brings an interesting perspective to things. And I wouldn't say it's a brainwashy perspective. I think that's what a lot of outsiders see when they look at us, is the stargazer is brainwashing all of us and that we're all going to be stargazers soon enough. But she's not. That's not how she works. She doesn't try to tell us how it is. She offers her perspective and her insight, and she gives us a new lens to look through things. And sometimes we're convinced, and other times we're not. I think that there's something to be said for, you can't have a triad with a missing leg. The worm is out of balance, but it needs to be put back into balance. And can it ever be completely fixed? I don't know. I've heard some believe that the worm was driven insane. I've heard some believe that the worm was corrupted. But if there's some worm spirits that aren't, those are the ones that need to be protected until the ones that are destroyed, so that they can keep doing what they're doing and restore the cycle. And is it possible that the corrupted ones can be destroyed and come back not corrupted? I don't know. It's all.
That's a weird one.
Can they ever be truly destroyed, or is it a fruitless exercise?
Again, it's tricky.
Yeah. Are we just going to be doing this endlessly? Is it too late? That's the question. Is how deep does the corruption run? If it's all the way down, then if spirits can't ever be truly destroyed and they just keep reforming with the corruption, then we can't win. Because they will keep coming over and over and over again until we find a way to get rid of the corruption.
That train of thought can be dangerous. I'm just.
Oh, I know.
Hey,
I get it. I've watched and talked to a lot of Guru, and I'm actually, the reason I am thinking like that is because I am preparing to meet with the king at one point, and that's kind of his mindset.
Like top of the.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know you had that kind of pull.
I earned it. Trust me. It was a favor.
The beatings, right?
No, that was something else. But, I'm trying to help a friend. But there's a lot out there that think like that. A lot of the older ones especially. And I have found the best way to help others out of that situation is to know why they think that way and to get into their headspace. So yeah, it's dangerous, but I also have the anchors to pull myself out of thinking that way. So it's okay.
All right.
I'm good.
All right. Sorry, Theurge, just
I get
dangerous
it. No,
talk.
I get it. I appreciate it. But I get why. That's the path to Hirano. Like it does seem pretty hopeless, but there's got to be something. And I've heard some interesting things. I've heard stories out there of places and things. I heard a story about a warehouse in the Umbra and a eye in the Umbra. A bank of eyes, actually. But it was essentially like a spirit of technology that exists in the Umbra. I don't know, but that was interesting to me.
Where'd you hear that?
That one is courtesy of San Francisco.
That's a fair distance.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean that's the kind of stuff that's out there. Makes me wonder. Just makes me wonder, is there a solution? Is there something? Is there answers to be found if we have the courage and the ability to seek it out?
That's something we're constantly trying to figure out, though.
That's why we need collaboration, cooperation.
Right. It's a hard aspect to try and take on because of how all the different points of view, though. It's all like nothing to say bad about the elders, but the elders are very much stuck in their way about different things. And so when we get into those talks at the moots and we're like, all right, what if we go about this approach? No, we've already done that. Yeah, you did it, but we might try a different approach. Same practice, different approach, but we get shot down every time because it's something I've already done. And it's something that I want to look into because one of the things that is piquing my curiosity is this lost patron. And I'm trying to figure that out further and how the spirits are being affected here. The only person that can really give me that information on what happened is Eliza. And that's times where I wish where we had more elders here. So what's nice is that the elders can give a bunch of perspectives so that you can practice these different things. That's one of the nice things about them, other than them shitting down your throat about your idea.
Well, it's funny. One of the first choices we had to make as a pack when we got here was we had two elders, both of them suffering. One from Hirano, one from Hoglosk, Ryder and Eliza. We had heard that there was a tier of Gaia in the Umbra nearby. We could bring one of them back. So we sought out the tier of Gaia and we found it. We chose Eliza. Felt like the tier was meant for her. And in the long run, I think it was the right choice. But we could have chosen Ryder, and we would have had a completely different path, different insights, a different outcome to everything. Maybe not better, but different for sure. And I kind of wonder, in an alternate world, what it would have been like with Ryder's advising instead of Eliza's, or who Ryder would have been had we restored him instead. What Eliza would have been like if we hadn't restored her. But yeah, I mean, we need that knowledge. That's why it's nice having the best friend that's a Galliard. We're trying to put a whole knowledge database together because of this kind of stuff. But there's something to be said for the old way of things, but it wasn't perfect, because if it was, we wouldn't be still doing this. We wouldn't be sucking as bad as we are.
Or broken. It wouldn't be the
Definitely not.
Nah, Jester's good people.
Yeah.
Puts a lot on herself, but no, she's good people.
She's just taking a beating. Really bad. But I'm glad that she's actually finding some happiness finally. I'm glad that I'm here to see it. I left at a really bad time, but now she's doing well.
Sound like it's for the better, though. You got some good insight. You seem like you're patching things up with a lot of the different seps, which is, I think, going to be helpful for this place.
Starting
the
to.
way things, yeah, the way they were looking at you guys was not with pity anymore. So
Definitely not. And some of them are still a long way away from seeing us better, but there are others that are coming around. And I don't know. It's going to be a long, long fight. And it's going to be a long conversation, but it had to happen. It has to happen. What other choice do we have?
yeah. Artie, one of the things I was told about me is that you are really good with computers.
Yeah. I mean,
And from what I can,
obviously.
yeah, well, you got into my Wi-Fi without even asking me. Passwords, it burns when I pee, by the way, as you probably see. But I have a question on. He grabs the staff and puts it down. First, do you recognize anything about this? Like, first glance, anything?
He looks over the staff, looking at the symbols, cocking his head to the side for a moment. No, nothing stands out.
Okay. I was hoping you could help me with this.
Sure.
I have a rudimentary overall understanding of computers. I can look things up, but I can't do what you guys do. Trying to be nice about it. Is there any way that you could like put this into a system, an algorithm or something like that to scan these symbols and find out what they mean?
They're rough,
not-
but I can try. Yeah, I mean, I can
Okay.
take a few pictures, do a few scans. I could probably put together a program to scan databases. I mean, if this is something from our side of the fence or any kind of supernatural side of the fence, it's probably going to be pretty well hidden, if even available at all. Now, thankfully, some of the supernatural side of things are sloppy. And, that's how I've gotten a lot of leech intel before, is that they are sloppy. But some are also really, really good at stuff. And they keep their stuff hidden. And based off of the look of this, it's old. And the old ones don't stay up to date with this kind of stuff. But let me see. And he takes out a phone from his pocket and actually starts holding the phone and just kind of swiping it over the staff slowly before rolling the staff and scanning it over the staff slowly. And you can hear the computer whirring as he does so. And then after he makes a full scan of the staff, he starts typing. And then a moment later, well, I got a hit on one thing almost immediately. And he rolls the staff over and points to one symbol. This is a symbol from Irish folklore.
Okay.
It's Kind of weird, but it's Irish demonic folklore. The Evil Eye of Balor.
Okay. I'm assuming the demon eye, that's probably not a great thing.
Well, no, obviously not, but it's folklore. So, but it's Balor, it's the evil eye. It's a symbology of the greater demon itself, but that was the symbol of the demon, was the evil eye, which represented the demon. But that's the hit I got, was the symbol representing Balor. Yeah. I can send you some articles about Balor to study up, but it's mostly just typical folklore, but this isn't anything like problematic. It's just more like kind of like heraldry. And actually, based off of what I'm seeing here, it looks like this is, and he gestures to a couple of other, it looks like they are combating Balor. Or possibly fleeing, based off of these figures.
Yeah. So, visible frustration. He walks away for a moment, and like tapping his finger on the different tables around and pacing back and forth. And he's muttering to himself, "The eye, the eye, the eye." Thanks. Artie, thanks. I think that's helpful.
Roll me a wits and awareness.
Four.
It's actually at this point that you hear a noise come from the kitchen. It's very soft, and it doesn't seem to be picked up by Artie, who is continuing to tap away at the keyboard.
Artie, I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna go to the kitchen. Do you want anything?
Do you have coffee?
No. Yeah, I got coffee. You want a sandwich or anything? I know no chicken or nothing, but.
Oh, sure. Yeah. What have you got? Peanut butter sandwich. Peanut butter be good? You got peanut butter?
Yeah.
Cool.
I got you.
All right.
You'll head to the kitchen. Look around, see what you can find.
Head into the kitchen. You see that one of the refrigerator doors is popped open. And you see that the back door is ajar.
And walk by, close the fridge a little bit, head to the back door and peer out, opening it just a little bit more and see what's out there.
Roll me a wits and investigation.
Three.
You look outside, and in the dumpster outside, you see a bit of cloth hanging over the lip of the dumpster where the lid is hanging closed.
Walk over to the dumpster and give it a little tap and see if anything rustles inside.
Well, leave me alone. I didn't do nothing.
Hey, I'm not mad. Just want to make sure you're okay.
Yeah, I'm fine. I didn't do nothing. Leave me alone.
Wait, if you're hungry, if you were inside, man, it's all good. If you're hungry though, I can whip you up something real quick.
I ain't got no money.
That's fine. It's on me.
You ain't a cop, right?
Far from.
You see the lid shake a little bit. And as it pushes open, you see Moses. However, he looks much worse for wear. He looks dirty. He looks wild-eyed. He looks like his clothes haven't been washed in a very long time, at least several days. He looks like he's been digging through the trash and sleeping on the street.
Moses?
How do you know my name?
It's Jason.
Huh?
I come and see you on the boardwalk sometimes. Regard. Let me get you some food. Let me get you a drink, and make sure you're okay, man.
All right.
All right. Try and help him out of the dumpster.
Climbs out of the dumpster and slumps down. He doesn't have a pack on him. He seems like he's, again, been sleeping on the street. His clothes are dirty and torn. His hair is just disheveled.
Any injuries I can see just off a quick glance?
His feet, which are bare, look like they've been walking on, cement, so they're kind of scraped and scratched, but nothing too bad.
All right, buddy. Let's get you inside and let's get you something cold to drink. Okay. Okay. Kind of usher him inside, and once we get in, he'll lock the back door.
He shuffles in, but he's very, very anxious and cautious. Sorry, broke in.
No, it's all right. I'm just glad you're not hurt. If you want to take a seat at the bar, I'll get something made up. What would you like to eat?
What have you got?
Okay. And anything you broke in or took, anything you got, you can keep. Don't even worry about it.
Nods his head a few times before shuffling towards the front. You hear Artie start to speak up. Actually, hey.
Artie, this is Moses. You just need something to drink and something to eat, and just kind of make sure he's doing all right.
Okay, cool.
If you can just keep an eye on him, I'm just gonna whip something up real quick.
Sure thing.
Okay. Go to the back. Try and wrap his head on what is going on.
As you put some food together, you hear some light small talk, but it is very awkward out in the bar area that just quickly falls quiet as Artie just continues tapping along. Eventually, you put together 2 sandwiches, a glass of water, and a cup of coffee for Artie. You bring them out front. Moses is sitting at the far, far end of the bar, away from Artie, closest to the door. Artie looks to you for with a shrug as he continues typing.
Give the sandwich and the water to Moses, and give him a slight pat on the back. Hey, I'm gonna be right back.
He flinches at the pat, but then nods.
And you just holler if you need anything else, all right?
Okay.
Okay. Take the sandwich and the coffee over and set it down, sit next to Artie. So, that's the guy who had the, point to the staff. beforehand.
Is he always like that?
Nope. This is one he's usually pretty well maintained, even for an unhoused individual. And he's not as skittish. And he doesn't remember who I am.
That's strange.
Yeah. Do me a favor.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do something kind of dumb. If you can, it's fine. Just gonna try something. If you could give just Charles a quick call, just in case things go a little weird.
Why don't you tell me first what it is you're thinking before we make contingency plans and...
I'm gonna take this and point to the staff over to him, see if it piques anything at him. If it does, I'm gonna keep pressing. If not, I'm gonna bring it back over and then I'm gonna send him on his way. But I don't know what the reaction's going to be. I suck at fighting. I don't know about you. But fighting the unhoused, they don't fight fair.
Okay. All right. I mean, what's the worst that could happen, right?
Stabbing, gunshots.
Yeah, but come on.
It still sucks, man. It still hurts.
I guess. I've been getting my ass kicked for like a month, so I'm really not that... Sure. I got your back. It'll be fine.
I'm happy you're a battered human. You'll slap him on the shoulder and grab the staff.
Okay, so grabbing the staff, you go to approach Moses, who is eating the sandwich, but then just stops and looks over at you.
Hey, how's it taste? And I'm not the best chef, but
It's good.
good. You need anything else? More water?
No, it's fine.
Okay. You mind if I take a seat?
Your place.
Yeah. He'll go and sit on the stool. So, I don't know why you aren't recalling me, but you and I have had a few conversations. So, one, I just want to make sure that you're doing okay. And secondly, you'll kind of put the staff up on the bar. You recognize this piece of wood?
No.
Okay.
I don't know what you remember, mister, but I don't remember you.
That's unfortunate. We had a couple good laughs, shared a couple stories. Well, in case you're not the person I think you are, where are you from? I'm from Columbus, Ohio.
Louisiana.
Oh, okay. It's not too far from here. Been here long?
I don't know.
So you do know that you're Moses. You just don't know how long you've been. What do you remember? Like, what do you know? Like, how's your last week looked?
Looking for food. Looking for a place to sleep. Getting money where I can. Surviving like I always done.
You look to be doing okay. Looking for a place to stay. And I haven't been there personally, but there's a place to help out those who are in your situation a little bit further north. It's a church. They might be able to help you out. If you're ever around here and you're needing food, drink, anything like that, you just If door's unlocked, just come on in. I'll let the other people that work here know, like, who you are. We'll get you all settled in.
All right.
Just, like, one favor, you just not break in. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Sorry.
It's okay. I get being hungry and thirsty and trying to survive. As far as money goes, he'll open his wallet and give him $40, just for when you're out and about and the bar's not open. Be able to help you out a little bit. Okay.
Holds up the bills and salutes with them.
All right. You go ahead and enjoy your food. I'm gonna unlock the front door. You just leave when you're ready, okay?
Nods his head a few times. All right. Thank you.
Yeah. You can call me Jason.
Jason.
Stand up, walk over to the front, unlock it, go back to Artie and put the staff back down. He doesn't remember a thing.
Artie looks to the staff again. You felt anything different since you've had this?
Feeling different's been a constant state of being lately for me, man.
Oh, that's fair. I can't really argue with that.
Like I guess I've been feeling, I wouldn't say better, but improving, I guess. Nullified in a sense. But that's whenever I'm home.
Well, I've been doing a lot of studying about talismans and stuff. And, I have to learn about moon bridges and therefore moonstones. And one of the talismans that exists is called spirit catchers. In fact, it's one of the ways we were able to preserve Aiden to complete the ritual to save his spirit, I guess. Have a theory. It's a working theory.
Okay.
What if Moses, you remember, came from this staff? Or more appropriately, through this staff.
He'll look over to where Mo's sitting and look back to the staff. So you're telling me that possibly two separate people?
Well, you just said he doesn't remember anything.
Uh-huh.
Missing time is akin to possession.
Okay.
It's a long stretch, okay? It's a running, jumping leap, but if he can't remember what he's been up to for significant periods of time, and you have very detailed memories about what this guy's been doing, including an entire different behavioral pattern, it's either he's schizophrenic, which I'm not entirely ruling out here, or possession. And if that's the case, what's possessing him? And is it good or bad? And most things that possess aren't good, as I'm sure you know.
Okay. I was told not to do my activities outside of the house to kind of see what's kind of going on. As someone who's been with the group longer, I think if you give me an okay to do it real quick.
Artie fishes in his pocket and then pulls out a pair of glasses and hands them to you. Let's just skip the middleman here, okay?
Cool. You'll go and put them on.
As you bring the glasses to your eyes, you see almost immediately the world become that photo negative of penumbral senses. Looking, everything seems as it should be. The spider webs that make up the structure that is the warehouse, the surrounding city. Looking down the bar, you see the shade that is Moses. Looking at the staff. The staff is visible on both sides completely as a solid object.
I need to talk to Eliza next chance I get. I'll take them off real quick. Thank you. This is on both ends of the spectrum.
Artie puts on the shades himself, taking off his own glasses and putting them on. He looks around, focuses on the staff, lifts it up, puts them down, takes them off. Not for me.
What? I'll take him back and put him back on, making sure he's not seeing things. You'll look down at it.
You see it?
Yeah, I really gotta talk to her. Yeah, I'm seeing it. I don't know why you're not. This is beyond my expertise.
Okay.
Do a quick flip up back and forth just to make sure.
Yeah, it's there on both sides.
I'll take them off and hand them back. You know, sometimes being this is aggravating.
If you ever want to talk about it, I'm here. Lucas is great for conniving and planning and scheming, and he's that Ragabash, okay? But
You kind
you
of
ever
nudge Artie
just...
like,
Oh, right. But if you ever need to talk, I'm here.
Odd enough, I've had a heart-to-heart with Charles, which was weird.
Did you get frostbite?
2 ices usually just makes things colder, so, you know.
If he's been spending time with Jester, I'm not
I
surprised.
think she's rubbing off.
I'm not
I think she's
surprised.
getting to him.
Yeah. She has a power about her. And yeah. But
I don't think I've been upset around her. So yeah, no, that's fair.
yeah. Well, let's get you back to the cairn then. Everything should be set up here, good to go. Like I said, don't do anything too obvious to call in anybody, because if they look too deep into this, but you should be good for a while, at least. We'll re-up it and do some touch-ups here and there, but this will get you started at least.
Okay.
And I'll keep
you'll
looking into the staff. I'll see if anything else pops. Nothing else immediate other than the eye. I've got a few articles. I'll get them sent over to you so you can read up on them, but yeah. Nothing else has popped yet, but I haven't done a deep enough search yet.
Well, thanks for all the stuff you've done today. It's been a huge help.
Absolutely. This is what packs do, and your pack.
Good friends, huh?
Yeah.
I'll look over, and is Moses still sitting over there?
Gone.
Okay. Yeah, I'll lock up and make sure I lock the back door, so that way when Jester does come here to work, there's still stuff for her to serve.
As you head out, head over to the Jeep, Regina, which is the vehicle that brought you here from the cairn, as Artie took you to the bar. Strange thing about Regina is that Artie doesn't use keys. But you figured out very quickly as to why. Even though you can't see it, Artie talks to a spirit that operates the vehicle. But it also kind of pains you a little bit. Because if you were at your full faculties, you would love to be a part of that conversation. And hopefully, soon, you will. As you begin the drive back to the cairn, what's going through your mind?
Trying to unravel the rat's nest that is Moses. The idea that Artie brought up of possession, that the staff is somehow connected, a part of him, and without it, Moses almost defaults to a different form. And that Jace can see the staff on both sides, but Artie can't. Is that just because that it's a Theurge Ragabash thing, or is it something connecting him further to the staff? So he was wanting to verify with another Theurge to see if she can see it too.
Meeting Moses may have been a blessing or a curse at this point. It's hard to tell because the mystery, while exciting, has been one of the most frustrating experiences of your life. And it's only getting more frustrating, but also intriguing. Because this has taught you more than any of the teachings of being a Theurge so far. Because you're learning things even the greatest Theurges you've met don't know. You've been places that no other guru you've ever met have been to. Like Alice down the rabbit hole. How far does it go? Transition now to our next scene. Lucas. Taken Eliza to the clinic. You have the solution that Eliza has put together. Solution that might just help Louise. So as you arrive at the urgent care clinic where Louise has been sedated for the most part, ever since she was taken from her home, taken away from the plants. Eliza, sitting in the passenger seat of your truck, holding her bag with the concoction that she's mixed up inside. She just stares out the passenger side window as you're driving towards the clinic. She stays silent for the most part until you arrive and then head into the clinic. And when you are greeted by Ivy, she moves you through the clinic towards the back, towards a private room. And when you enter in, you do see Louise strapped down to a table securely, and she seems to be completely unconscious. You do see that there's a tray nearby full of sedatives, and it looks like many of them have been used. Ivy looks to you. We've been able to keep her unconscious for the most part. But she has woken a few times. And in doing so, she was rather agitated. I'm sorry. I've done all I can to try and keep her as peaceful as possible, but it has become quite intense.
Yeah, I'd be pretty pissed off too if I was her.
Eliza reaches into her bag. Well, hopefully, this will do the trick, and it won't last for very long. Thank you, Ivy. You've been a great help, and hopefully this will all make sense eventually, but I appreciate your discretion. You've done a great deal here. Well, it's a medical marvel, to say the least, and I'm sure no one would ever believe me if I tried to write anything about it. If it helps people, that's really what's most important. I agree, Eliza responds. All right. Well, it's going to start with a transfusion. But, Lucas, I'm going to really need your help with this. So, if you can, I'm just going to need you to follow my instructions here as best as you possibly can.
Yeah, whatever you need.
It's going to be a mixture of ritual as well as medicine and science taking place here. Miss Ivy, I will need your assistance also. Ivy nods, and at this point, Eliza starts instructing her to gather certain supplies, which she does so, including an IV bag, fluids, as well as blood. She starts gathering the components together. It looks like she had some of them prepared as if Eliza had supplied a list in advance. So she starts laying out the various components, and Eliza draws out 2 different items. One of them seems to be a clear fluid. The other seems to be a viscous, almost silvery tinted fluid, or like a gray tinted fluid in the other hand. She then presents a bowl, a copper tinted bowl that she places in the center. She then puts 2 sticks of incense in a wooden block on the opposite side and lights them. She sets up a little hot plate underneath the copper bowl and plugs it in, starts it up, and starts warming it. She starts speaking in a language as she passes the gray tinted fluid to you and keeps the clear tinted fluid to herself. And as she pours it in, it starts to warm up and sizzle. She then, at a certain point, gestures to you to pour in the gray fluid. If you could roll a intelligence and science roll for me.
2 successes.
Okay. So at an even pour, you're able to pour it slow enough that it is able to mix at a nice, even, steady flow, that it's not just dumping in all at once, or it's not, trickling in too slow. You just keep it at a nice, even, steady pour, that it starts to mix and it almost swirls in an even pattern with the clear fluid as it goes into the bowl. As she does so, she pulls out a funnel that she attaches into like a port hose that goes into the IV bag that's hanging from one of those stands next to the bed. She has Ivy plug it into one of those ports that is already put into Louise's arm. All right. This is where things might get problematic. As soon as the formula starts to enter into a bloodstream, she's going to start to react. Now, from what I have seen, the reaction is a lot. We have ice, and we have water, and we have everything we can, ice packs to try and cool her, but she is going to run very feverish and hot. So we need to do everything we can to try and cool her. The other issue is she might try to expel the toxin. I do not know if it'll have an effect if it makes contact with us. So we've got some gear that we can wear for it, and I've provided masks to cover our faces so that we don't breathe anything in. But I don't know how intense it's going to be, as it's been in her system for quite some time. So just be prepared for anything.
Okay.
Lucas, you're going to need to hold her down from the front if she starts to lash, because she is going to be fighting against these bonds very intensely. But that also puts you in the direct path of anything that comes expelling out. So you might need to move quickly.
Lucas will glance over at Ivy and back to Eliza.
She'll be standing behind.
Do I need to get a little bigger?
Ivy, I think the two of us have this. Why don't you step outside? We'll bring you in after it's done. Are you sure? Positive. Okay. Ivy leaves the room. That's probably for the best.
Yeah, she probably doesn't need to see any of this.
Also,
Lucas
if it gets airborne, I can't say what effect it'll have on her.
Lucas will take off his vest and start putting on mask and gown, gloves, everything he can to that, and then I will shift into Galabro.
Okay. Go ahead and make the rage check.
Good to go on that.
So as you shift, growing in size, hair spreading across your arms, muscles thickening, your clothes almost growing taut on your form. You get into position. You have almost like a smock or an apron on that covers most of your body, covering skin. You've got gloves covering your hands, a mask covering your face, and maybe even one of those protective shields, which are almost readily available at hospitals now to cover your face guard. But unaware of what potentially could come out of this poor woman, you've done what you think you can to protect yourself, but this is only a urgent care clinic, so supplies are pretty limited here. They're not going to have full-on hazmat suits at this location, so you're doing the best you can with what you have. At this point, Eliza hooks up the blood transfusion, and the formula starts letting the blood in, and then starts adding the formula to the blood. At this point, Louise starts to twitch. She starts to shudder. And then she lets out a scream as her eyes fly open, and her eyes are almost completely solid yellow all the way through as she lashes up against the bed that she's strapped to. Go ahead and give me a strength and brawl to try and hold her down, or strength and athletics. Since it's, well, let's go brawl. Strength and brawl.
It's the same either way for me.
Yeah.
So 4 successes. It's a crit, so it's just the 4 successes.
Okay, so with 4 successes, you keep her pinned down against, she just keeps thrashing against your grip as she has wild eyes looking over at you. It burns! It burns! She snarls as she looks at you. You can't have her back. She's mine, Lucas. The formula continues to pour into her system. Go ahead.
He'll lean in close to her, into her ear, and say, I will burn you out, seed, spore, and stem. And you will leave now.
Give me a manipulation and intimidation.
Ooh, can I use my tribal gift for that?
Sure. Let's do it.
Okay. 4 successes.
Okay. So, for the first time when encountering anyone afflicted by this, when encountering any of these creatures, you see the fury or the dead-eyed stare or any expression that anyone infected have a gaze of doubt cross their face just for a moment. It'll kill her first. It's too late. The roots are embedded within her. It's too late, Lucas. Ah! She throws her head back, and as she does so, yellow ichor starts to spray out of her mouth, just squirting outwards in like a volcanic burst, as it is almost mixed with this red blood that just comes spurting out as well as the fluid continues to just sink into her arm. At this point, her veins start to take a deep reddish orange color in her arms and up to her throat. They also almost take this silvery black color as well, mixed in with the reddish orange. Her skin that you're holding against starts to heat up. Eliza nearby has grabbed ice packs and is patting them against her form. The yellow bile that splattered upwards has hit primarily the bed and the wall behind her, Eliza managing to have ducked out of the way of it. What it's hit, it has stuck and clung to, and you can actually see that it is sizzling against what it's touched, almost like an acid. As she continues to thrash, give me another strength and brawl to keep holding her down.
4 successes again, no crit.
Okay, still enough to keep her pinned down to the bed as she keeps convulsing. Her eyes avert towards you again, and the eyes still have that yellowish tint, but you can see the gray and red starting to come in from the outsides, and you can see that yellowish bile starting to run down from her tear ducts on her face. You can see it caked around her mouth. Now, it doesn't seem to be burning, but it's leaving like a reddish, almost allergic tinge around her mouth. It hurts. It hurts so bad. Why? Why? Why does it hurt?
We're trying to get it out of you. I need you to fight. You have to fight it.
But it's... But... She kind of slumps backwards. She coughs, and another gout of it comes out. Give me a dexterity and athletics to dodge out of the way as a big just glob of it comes towards you.
Five successes.
Dodging nimbly out of the way, the glob misses you, hitting the floor near you, and you can see the tile of the ground start to smoke a little bit from where it hits. But it quickly fades as the tile is enough to stop it from kind of burning through anything too seriously. As you get back to her, there's not much to hold down. It seems like the thrashing has stopped. She lays still for a moment. And then her head lifts up and her eyes open. One eye glowing green, one eye glowing red. You can save one, but only one. And then it thuds back, her head thuds back, eyes closed. And as you see the last of the formula enter into her system, she kind of convulses once more, and another gout comes out of her mouth, but it's more red and gray and less yellow. The bile and yellow fluid around starts to dull and sizzle away and fade. She slumps against the bed, and her breathing is weak and shallow, but steady. Eliza removes one of the ice packs from her forehead and touches her head. The fever's breaking. She goes over towards the door. You might want to shrink down. She's going to be needed to be treated for iron poisoning.
Yeah, I'll shift down to Hamid.
She opens the door. Ivy, come in, please. Ivy comes in. You can begin the treatment that we talked about. Ivy nods and grabs another couple of vials from the cabinet, starts filling up syringes and putting them into the IV. Eliza moves over to her eyes and opens one of them up. And as she does so, you can see that her eye color has returned. Brown eyes. The yellow seems to have completely faded. They're very bloodshot, but that's to be expected. The pupils are extremely dilated. Eliza then walks over and grabs some wipes and wipes off around her mouth. Starts moving around the room, cleaning up. Ivy keeps tending to Louise. Eliza pauses near you. I think it worked. This is quite an ordeal, and if it's always going to be like this.
We need to figure out something to get this out before we have to do this to several 100,000 people. That's not going to be sustainable.
No. But if we can catch it earlier, perhaps in smaller doses, it would just feel like maybe a heat rash or a low-grade fever, nothing as intense. Slight nausea, perhaps. But this was deep-seated in her.
At the end, that wasn't her.
No.
What was that?
If I had to guess, that's whoever's truly responsible. That is another mystery entirely. Vanessa is not the top of the food chain. She never was. When it comes to Pentex, there are always things higher up.
Yeah, she said she was working in the margins outside of what they knew. So who else
She might
did
have been
bring on
working.
board?
Exactly. And if they're capable of something like that, that goes along with what we were thinking. Either, well, she looks towards Ivy. As you've been speaking in hushed tones, Ivy doesn't seem to be paying too much attention.
Yeah.
This is information. We know that it works. And we know that it's possible, but we can't afford this much of an intense dose for every individual. They weren't wrong when they said, we got this one. We can't do this every time. This iron that we used here today is wasted. It can't be used again.
Okay.
But she's fine. She'll recover. And I'll make sure of it. I'll check in on her. I'll stay nearby. When she's back, she won't remember this. Not too clearly, at least.
Okay, that's good. Her house should be ready to go. It should be cleared out.
Good. She'll have gotten a very bad case of COVID.
Yeah. Get Artie's help in fabricating something. It'll make sense. The paperwork
Certainly.
will follow.
You did good, Lucas. I'm glad that we could help her.
Me too. Just concerned.
As are we all. Forward. Onward.
Yeah. Forward, onward. Yeah. Are you gonna stay here?
I'll stay here. You get back to the cairn. There's much to
Yeah.
report on.
Yeah, I'm gonna go let people know what happened.
Should be all right.
Yeah, just call if you need something.
I will. As you head out, removing the gear and disposing of it before leaving, you get to your truck and climb in. Can't help but see that face and those eyes. One glowing green, one glowing red. What goes through your mind as you're preparing to leave the clinic?
He remembers what Aiden told everybody after he was gone about choosing and destiny and all that bullshit that Lucas hates to think about and doesn't like. And now something has told him that he has to choose. And Lucas doesn't feel like he's always been really good at choosing the right thing. So he's afraid. He's afraid he's going to make the wrong choice.
Transition now to our final scene of the evening. Aspen and Jester. You find yourselves at the cairn, having a moment to check in with one another as your paths cross. Jester, the images of Edward Bateman and Mia from the previous evening still are running through your head. This is your first chance to check in with Aspen about everything that happened that evening. You're here to report, so you've made plans to get to Aspen to talk to her. As it was late at night, you weren't going to wake her up and disturb her, as there was really nothing to be done. But you did make plans to meet with her the next day to report in on what you saw at the apartment complex. And Charles insisted that you don't go bothering her about this, which you were really wanting to do. And he said it could wait, and that you could report the next day. So that day has come, and here you are, meeting with Aspen at the cairn. Aspen, you've met with Anna, you've met with Matthias. They're out going to find more information, so there's nothing really more you can do at the moment, except get reports from everybody else and continue life as usual. So a report from Jester is a good thing, an update, to kind of find out what's going on and to take steps forward towards accomplishing something in regards to this, and hopefully some more information about the apartment complex would be good. So here we are, the two of you at the cairn. The scene is yours.
Hey, Jess. She kind of just plops onto the table, sitting on the table itself instead of in one of the chairs, just kind of kicking her feet.
Yeah, Jester's already sitting on the table, kind of doing the same thing. She appears to have earbuds in her ears. She'll take them out. Hey.
So, you wanted to update me about things? I have things as well that I should probably tell you about. So I can go first or you can go first. Either one.
You go first.
Okay. I talked to Matthias and he has talked about getting you into the paper. So getting you a job at the paper so that you can start writing articles, which would probably help us get the word out in whatever way we need to, that, hey, stay away from plants potentially, or whatever you need to do. You're much better at telling stories than I am, to keep people safe while we figure all of this out. Also have him potentially looking into a mine up in Michigan, since we have some connection to Michigan. In fact, I might even get the number myself and see if I can make a connection with the SEP down there, just to kind of get my feelers out, stop relying on Matthias all the time. And also talk to Anna, and Anna's gonna do her thing up in Michigan, so things are kind of looking okay. We've got avenues, so it's looking pretty okay.
That's good. Yeah, I think the paper will be super helpful. I've already been on a bunch of forums spreading rumors, kind of to try to get people to avoid the plants. So spreading rumors of possible like toxicity and a few, yeah, just hospital reactions. Hopefully people avoid them, but you know, people can be dumb sometimes, so.
Right, and some people are going to listen to social media and some people are going to listen to the paper, so now both sides is even better.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing. We went to the complex and Bateman was there. I'm not gonna even just, yeah. I think it's his. I think it looked like it was his. As in, he's working with them. Mia was with him. Like, he got into a SUV. They both did. She looked pale. Like, couldn't really see. I don't know if he was feeding on her, or she's sick, or she could be one of them. But we followed them to the airport, where he went into the entrance that has private planes and jets. And Charles pointed out we could have gone farther, but it probably would have blown our cover. So we decided not to.
And Bateman and Mia left.
I don't know. I don't know if they were meeting someone or if they left. If they went to go and leave, I don't know. Like, we know they went into the entrance to the private jets, but nothing beyond that.
And you didn't see a plane leave or them get on okay. And they're staying there at
It looked like
the
it. There are still bushes. There's now a fence, metal fence, security station with a guard, and there's looked to be snipers on the roof.
How many?
I think I saw at least 4 from where we were.
On every building?
It looked like 2 on 2 of the different buildings. He was so close. So close.
But now we know where he is.
Yeah.
Aspen will hop off of the table, kind of pace the long table back and forth. You know, Matthias told me once that he's not a problem right now and we should focus on what's bigger and the plants and whatever the aggravating lady at Piney Point is doing.
Vanessa.
Vanessa.
Learned that too last night, so. But he's working with them. Some way or another. I mean, does that mean like he allowed leeches to be infected?
Wouldn't be surprised. It's in his purview. He wants to destroy everything around him for his own gain of, I don't even know, but we've got to do something about it. I feel like it all just comes back to him. Always, every time.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we should stop doing what we've been doing and focus our attention on him, but man,
But
Jess, I
why-
really want to.
I got really close last night to doing something. It would have been stupid.
Probably, yeah. But I can't say with everything we've been through with that, I blame you. I would blame you.
I know. We'll get them together.
Damn right we will. Can't miss all the fun.
No.
We're gonna get him. We're gonna get him eventually.
Yeah. It's just, I'll stand up and start pacing too. Like, it's so frustrating. He was right there.
I couldn't imagine. I couldn't say that I wouldn't have ran off. I probably would have done nothing, but I see the urge. So sick of that asshole.
Probably not the only ones to say that, but yes.
From what I know of his legal history, yeah, probably not the only ones, but I think, the ones who really know.
I wonder what he gave her in return.
Mia?
Mm-mm. Vanessa.
Vanessa?
He got an apartment complex with nice little werewolf attacking bushes. What'd she get?
It sounds like on either side of the fence, all they want is power. More power, control.
Yeah.
I'm really sick of it.
Same.
These
Sick of,
people being
Go
out
ahead.
here kind of makes all the little victories feel like nothing.
like we're struggling just to stay on the surface.
Yeah. How many times do we keep moving towards little victories and take the wins where we can get them when there's people out there that are constantly waiting to step all over it?
All the time.
We've got to do something.
Find iron?
Yeah. Find iron, I guess. I was so excited.
We should still be excited.
No, I know. No, we should. And I guess in a weird, really, really fucked up way, knowing that he's out there and that he's that close makes it more worth fighting for.
I mean, we know where he is now. At least one place.
Finally poked his head out of the ground.
For a moment.
I mean, you uncovered something, right? It may not have been in the ground, but you found something.
Yeah, yeah. We did find something.
At this point, at the edge of the clearing, you hear a voice calling out, "Hey guys!" You see Artie coming in from the other side of the clearing as he starts to make his way across, waving a hand. He's almost going at a brisk jog as he's crossing the clearing. And then when he gets to the table, he's a little bit out of breath, that he stops and puts a hand on the table. He takes off his bag and sets it on the table.
You okay?
Yeah, sorry. Still haven't gotten used to the run up the hill from the street. Hey, got a second?
Got a couple, I think.
Yeah.
Not interrupting anything, am I?
Nah, we're just wallowing. I mean, let's be real.
Yeah, pretty much.
Good. So, got some news. I guess I don't know where to begin. Jester, I tried to call you about this. Obviously couldn't get through because we're in the middle of hell, my personal hell here. Technologically speaking, of course, it's nice otherwise. But a while ago, you asked me to look into something, and I got a bit of a dead end. Do you mind if Aspen's here if we talk about some of your family stuff?
Oh. Oh. No, it's fine. I think she knows a lot due to legal troubles, so.
Well, yeah.
If it's not a big deal to you.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Well, you wanted me to look into your history, and I kind of hit a dead end.
Yeah, I remember. We kind of stopped because
Right.
everything became really complicated.
Yeah, well, dead end was here in Florida. And that's all well and good. Adoption agency in Florida. So I kind of thought that would be the end of it. Well, been doing some other digging recently, and turns out I may have found some more. I may have found your parents. It's kind of complicated. Don't know how much you want to know, but what complicates it even more is that I found your half-sister.
My what?
Half-sister.
Gonna sit down Okay. So I guess parents aren't together?
No, that's a very interesting story. Your father was in the mafia down here in Florida, actually, the mafia that we are coming to know very well recently. He was a mafia prince, young, teenage, brash. Well, when he got his girlfriend pregnant, he was looking to quit the family and run away with her. So he turned state's evidence. Well, unfortunately, this led to them putting him in witness protection and breaking him and his girlfriend up. They put the baby up for adoption, and disappeared him away. She's still here and still alive. He, unfortunately, is no longer with us. He had a daughter when he got married later in life.
Okay. So okay, keep going.
Here's where it gets interesting. When they relocated him to Michigan. Funny enough, they located him to Manistee, Michigan, where he met homesteaders and got married to the Kameen family.
Wait.
Jester, Juniper's your sister. Well, half-sister.
I'm going to slowly just sink down to one of the chairs.
Looks like that Black Fury runs a little bit deeper than we thought. She doesn't know yet, but she was looking for family here. And that's how I found out. Now, the only reason I was able to put it together is I found out that her parents put someone up for adoption, and I was able to put two and two together about the time, date, location. It all added up. It was buried pretty deep with witness protection and everything like that, but the mathed.
This is a lot.
I know.
I kind of gave up on even looking for them when looked at Aspen, Bateman, and all that happened.
It's a lot to process. I know. I haven't told her yet, but she's going to want to know because she knows I know something. But I wanted you to know first because obviously you're my sister too.
Yeah. What happened to... You said our dad died? What happened?
Yeah, well, might explain a little bit about her, but they were killed. High quality building was trying to buy out their property. They refused, and they killed the whole family. They say it was, some covered up mess, but it was an attempt to seize land. she wasn't home. And the killers got. I'm guessing this was the first change.
That makes a lot of sense. She's spiraling.
Yeah. But she was strangely light finding all this out. Unlike everything I've heard about her from you guys, there was a shift.
Well, you should tell her.
I think maybe you should tell her.
I'm not sure about that. She doesn't seem keen on talking to me, really. Like, and I kind of yelled at her on the mission at the thing, and
Well, how about this? I said I'd get back to her. Why don't I tell her and offer for her to meet you? And we'll do that transition-y thing.
okay.
She and I developed a rapport pretty quickly. Weirdly enough, I have that effect on bristly women. And he winks at Aspen.
I think that would work.
Now, if that isn't big enough, your mom's still alive. And I have her information.
No.
Okay.
It's just let's talk to Juniper.
Baby steps. Got it.
Let my mom live her life.
Okay. I get it.
That's a lot, though. Jess, you okay?
I don't know what I am right now. Shocked, kind of, like, it's all getting mixed up with everything that happened last night, so yeah, it's a lot. I mean, I have a sister. I never thought I'd even considered having a sister, which is kind of dumb since, adoption and all, and don't know what happened afterwards, but still. My sister's a Garu. I didn't even think, it doesn't usually happen.
Well, happened to Charles. There's some belief that some lines were hereditary, gone out of style, but maybe there's still a few out there.
Yeah, well, from understand about those lines, they've been growing weaker, so. Thanks for telling me.
This also means you're mob connected. That's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
Don't know what they know about you or if you even exist to them.
I mean, if he turned state's witness, would they try to get revenge on Juniper or me?
Don't know.
If they found out?
It was partially what was responsible for bringing that family down.
Hmm. need to be careful on that, I guess.
Yeah. Also
Guess
could
maybe
have been partially what was responsible for
what happened to my dad?
possibly.
You think they found out?
Don't know. I'm not making any guesses, but those things aren't too far apart. Construction and the mafia haven't exactly, been strange bedfellows in the past.
Fair. Oh. That connects them to high quality builders.
Maybe.
Back to
That's a large leap. I will keep digging to see if I can find out anything, but we should tread carefully. That's all I'm saying in regards to that. But that's just another potential liability to look out for. Now that we know this. It's also been long enough and that family's deluded enough that it might not be an issue at all.
yeah. I'm sorry, this is baby steps.
Yes. One thing at a
Juniper.
time. Yes.
Talk to Juniper. That's what we'll start with.
Yeah, mob stuff aside, you have a sister.
Yeah. And my sister's really angry.
You also had a half brother. He didn't make it. So she's going to have feelings about siblings. So we're going to be gentle about this.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a good thing.
Okay.
It's going to be a good thing. She seemed excited. At least intrigued. So we're going to handle it gently. And you got to know there's going to be feelings there. But I think it's a good thing for both of you. I really do. But there's going to be obstacles for both of you. And I will be here to see both of you through it.
Okay. Thanks, Artie.
Yeah. I'm happy for you. I really am. And I told her how happy I was for her because I can't imagine anyone better for her to have struck the lottery with.
Okay.
Genetic lottery.
Genetic lottery. Okay.
I was also going to make a joke about, two spicy black furies. Now it makes so much sense, but I'll leave it alone. I'm also here for you.
I know. Come here.
I'll run over and give her a hug.
Hug her back. Yes, thank you. Thank you both for being here. And yes, spicy black furies.
Will this Karen be able to take it? Who knows?
No. Fucking Gorgon.
Yeah,
She been holding out on tea for me.
that's what you do. So as the three of you settle in the knowledge, Artie takes out his laptop and shows some of the explanation of how he got to where he got to. This is where our story comes to a close this evening, but not without one last scene. This scene takes place back in those very apartments, up in a very lavish apartment at the top of one of the two buildings. We find Edward Bateman sitting in a dark room at a table lit by a single lamp. The door to the room opens, and a gnarled, batwing-eared individual slides their way into the doorway. Your new guests have settled. I must say, I'm not exactly sure why they're here. Bateman frowns slightly. They're here because we had no other choice but to let them be here. You know the arrangement. Yes, I know. But my prince, this arrangement isn't getting better. She just keeps taking. First, the weather. Now, more and more of the city's kindred are getting infected. It's spreading. The city is getting restless. You just came into power. How do you expect to maintain it? We've already had one food crisis. What if we go through another? You saw what it did to Marius. You're not wrong. I did inherit this problem after all. Perhaps it's time it's dealt with. Masterson, get me the number for Pelfrey and Weiss. And that is where our story comes to a close this evening. Thank you so much to these amazing players. Thank you to everybody watching at home. Rage Across Tampa will be back next Tuesday here on Twitch at 10 p.m. But we also have Hellhounds over on YouTube on Friday at 7 p.m. Go see what the other pack is up to and stay up to date on all of their shenanigans. And if you like what you're seeing here, go follow us on all the social media or come join our Discord community, and do it both by following that Discord link down below. For these amazing players, I'm Kent. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Have a lovely evening, everyone.